Hello again. This is welcome back to Auburn all the time. This is episode 3, and this week we're gonna touch on basketball. And of course, Auburn played at Alabama last night, and they got beat. Got beat pretty bad. And I know that one of the main things that everybody wants to talk about is, from Auburn perspective, is the officials. The officials don't win or lose a game for you. They can control like maybe the pace of play, sometimes the way they call it in the tempo of the game, but overall 9 times out of 10, especially in basketball, SEC, college, that it comes down to who is the more aggressive team. And Alabama was way more aggressive than Auburn. First of all, I mean, you got to give them credit. They're much improved under Nate Oates. They play like up tempo. Their pace is like top 3 in the nation, and they shoot a lot of threes. In which last night, Auburn actually hit more threes than Alabama, but that's not what won the game. They won the game. Alabama won the game because they played fast, but they didn't hurry. You can play fast, but you don't have to be in a hurry. You can play with a good pace and just attack the basket in control. Compared to Auburn, it was like come down to Auburn had a fast break on one possession. It was 1-on-3. Alabama had 3 guys back. Instead of pulling the ball back out, he drove in there. I think it was probably Flanagan or Cambridge, drove to the basket, and they called a charge on him because he went in out of control. So, I mean, we can sit up here and blame the officials all you want, but a lot of that was the way Auburn defended Alabama. They played up on Alabama's guards too tightly. They should have backed off some and gave them a cushion. And the thing about it, when you play against quick guards like Kyra Lewis, Shackelford, guards like that can get to the basket, you're gonna put yourself in a position. If you put your hands on them, you put 2 hands on them, it's automatic foul anyway. I felt like Alabama was the more aggressive team. They played in control, and Auburn don't have nobody to blame but themselves. You can't blame the officials when you put yourself in that position. So Alabama was the better team last night, hands down. Especially when it comes to they shot free throws at a high clip. I think it was like 29 out of 37, which probably I'm not an Alabama fan, but that had to be like one of their high marks of the season. And the thing about it, they have a finisher. Whenever you have a finisher in college basketball like Kyra Lewis that's got the ball in his hands 90% of the time, and you shoot that high of a free throw percentage, you can win a lot of ball games. Everybody look at the fact that Alabama came into this game 8-7, but also you got to look at the fact they got a first-year coach that's implying his system, and it's like they played probably, I would say, a tougher out-of-conference schedule than Auburn too. They actually played at Penn State. That's better than any opponent that Auburn played non-conference. Maybe, I mean, you can compare them to NC State, but Alabama went to Penn State, and NC State came to Auburn, and they actually played North Carolina on neutral site back when North Carolina actually had their best player, Anthony, the point guard. So, I mean, Alabama, they have to admit the fact that Alabama has a pretty good team, even though their record don't reflect that. You will more likely see them make their way into the NCAA tournament this year, more likely. Whenever you have the 5 stars that they got, like Petty, Lewis, and even like guys like Herb Jones and Alex Reese, guys that Bruce Pearl actually recruited also, and we try to get all these guys. And the thing about it, Alabama, from a talent standpoint, you can make an argument, which I know they are, and which a lot of Auburn fans won't admit it, they have more talent than Auburn right now. It's because Avery Johnson, even though he was more of a NBA coach, he wasn't a great college coach, he could recruit, and by having that NBA background, it helped bring in talent to Alabama, especially guys in the state. In the history of basketball in this state, 9 times out of 10, the best majority of the high-profile recruits are always going to lean towards Alabama. They're in-state school, and that's the way it's always been. And Auburn's always had success in Georgia in basketball. So, I mean, it's not a surprise they're talented, but now they actually got a coach that can develop that talent. That's a big difference. And so, you look at what Auburn has and the deficiencies they have shooting the ball. You basically got a 2-star which, I mean, it's not a knock on recruiting. You got a 2-star starting at point guard. You got a 3-star VCU starting at the 2 guard compared to a 5-star, basically 2 5-stars in the backcourt for Alabama. So, I mean, which Bruce Pearl's done an unbelievable job recruiting since he's built the program up to where it is now. He still has a deficiency in talent. It's not a knock on that. The thing about Bruce Pearl that you have to respect, he can develop players. He can take a 2-star or a 3-star and develop them into a 4 or 5-star caliber player, which a lot of teams can't do that. Like Kentucky, they couldn't take it. Like Calipari, he can't take a 2-star and develop it into a 5-star. He can take a 5-star and maintain where they're at, but I mean, it's a whole different ball game what Auburn has to deal with, not being the in-state school, and they're not a basketball powerhouse. They're building on something, and the future is definitely bright. If you look at the recruiting class he's got coming in and the 5 freshmen that's on the team this year, the future is definitely bright. But right now, last night, Alabama was the better team. That's not to say Auburn won't get them when they come to Auburn. Auburn will probably win that game. That's just the nature of the beast. In the SEC play this year, watch and see how it plays out. You got to hold serve at home and still a few on the road. And Alabama did what they had to do. They held serve at home last night, because if you look at the point spread last night, there's a reason why Alabama was a 1 and a 1.5 point underdog, because Vegas ain't stupid. They knew Auburn's going to have a hard time winning there. They ain't won but maybe 10 times in the history of the program over there anyways. So it wasn't a shock that they lost. It was a shock how bad they played. They didn't handle the pressure well at all. The pace of play was too fast for them. They could play at that fast pace if they're more under control. And Samir Dowdy having his 7 turnovers didn't help, but they had 21 turnovers, and which Alabama actually out-rebounded Alabama by 8. But Alabama capitalized on Auburn's mistakes, and Auburn didn't play a good game, bottom line. You can say the referees, you can say whatever. At the end of the day, Alabama played a cleaner game than Auburn, and they was able to capitalize better on Auburn's mistakes. But not to say that Auburn, I mean, the world's not coming to an end. They lost 1 game. And I guarantee you this, if you ask Bruce Pearl, you would think, if you ask him if he think he would have been 15-1 after the first 16 games, he probably thought you was crazy, considering what all they had to replace and what they're having to deal with from a shooting the ball deficiency. They're a better rebounding team. They're better defensively. They just don't shoot the ball as well. They got guys like Jamal Johnson, Jangel Purifoy, even Samir Dowdy can get hot and hit 3 or 4 threes in a row, but consistently, they do not have a consistent 3-point shooter like they did last year. So it's not a knock on them. It's just that's where they're at right now. So moving forward, I mean, you don't have time to sit there and dwell on they lost to Alabama last night. You just got to pick up the pieces and move forward. And it's like you get Florida Saturday in Gainesville, a place Auburn historically has always struggled at. But it's an opportunity, because, I mean, Florida, I mean, they're not even ranked right now, but they was preseason ranked number 6 for a reason. They have the pieces. They got Nimyard at a point guard, and they got Blackshear to transfer from Virginia Tech down low. So that's going to be the key matchup, the point guard and how Austin Wiley maintains Blackshear down low, because it's just like last night. You go down Florida playing lackadaisical, looking for the referees to bail you out instead of being the aggressor, same outcome. But hopefully they'll bounce back and use this as an opportunity to just grow and learn, and take that loss as a blessing that you get an opportunity. It ain't like football where 1 game could kill you. You got more and more. You got multiple games left to play to continue to build your resume and build your seat in the SEC. You come back home next week. You got 2 home games against USC, University of South Carolina, and who just beat Kentucky at the buzzer at their place last night. And you get I think Iowa State in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. So you got opportunity to come back home and hold serve before you go back on the road next week to Ole Miss. So, and that's not counting Kentucky's getting ready to come to town in a couple of weeks, and Alabama's coming back to town in a few weeks. So all's not lost. 1 loss, the opportunity to just build, continue to build and grow and move forward. And before we go, we want to touch on football just a minute. Finally got an offensive line coach, McNeil Jr., that came over from Ole Miss, spent the last 2 seasons there. I mean, same situation. Then the thing on him, he's not considered an elite recruiter. The same thing with J.B. Grimes, but he's considered more like J.B. Grimes, a technician and a teacher. And hopefully, the thing that separates them two is the age difference. He's probably 8 years younger than what J.B. Grimes was. and he's got multiple years in the NFL, and he actually won a Super Bowl with the Giants when Eli Manning then won a Super Bowl. So hopefully that will be able to sell to recruits, as that's what the main thing that the knock on Gus is, that the spread offense that he runs, it don't develop linemen for the NFL. So hopefully this guy can come in, put his imprints on the offensive line, and showcase what he can do to help buck that trend that we can put guys in the NFL. And with him knowing what it takes to get in the NFL by him coaching all them years in the NFL, hopefully that'll give them a shot in the arm. So moving forward, looking forward to closing out this signing day strong in February with Broderick Jones, the 5-star tackle, coming to town at the end of the month, right before signing day. Hopefully, the day period ends on Thursday. I know Gus still has an in-home visit with him, which is going to be critical, and surely the guy, the offensive line coach, will go with him and work on that relationship. Same situation, even though he's committed to Georgia, he's got to get to know Matt Luke too. Same situation, so Georgia can't necessarily negative recruit that situation because they have a new offensive line coach, and they actually worked together before, because Bittnell Jr. was Matt Luke's offensive line coach while he was the head coach at Ole Miss. So, I mean, you can't really negative recruit that, but if there's any way possible that Kirby Smart can do it, he will do it. He will find an angle to do it, though. So, especially with Georgia losing so many linemen early to the draft and having a couple linemen transfer like Cade Mays and a few others transfer back home to Tennessee. So it's gonna be an all-out battle. But with Auburn today dropping Jonathan Buskey, the junior college offensive tackle from Mississippi, because he didn't get his grades in order, that's another opportunity for just that playing time's there if he just capitalizes on it and sees that. So hopefully that's what'll happen moving forward. So enjoyed it. Enjoyed talking to y'all again. I'm appreciative and thankful for everybody that subscribed to my channel. As always, I look forward to reading the comment section. If you see an opportunity for me that I can improve on the channel, and any advice that you can give me, I would appreciate it. So until next time, War Eagle.